Hello, friends. Woo! We're back for more podcasts. Make some noise. Yay! I'm Tom, founder of A Work in Progress and host of the Showfile Podcast, and welcome to Showfile Podcast Live at Factory Reset at Strongroom. And I'm joined by Piri.
Hello.
Make some noise for Piri.
Hello.
Who's been very kind in coming and talking to us about your experience as an artist in this world that we've been talking about. Because ultimately, I guess, I did write some things for this, actually.
Hooray.
And shows represent the artist, and that's the goal. Whether you're supporting in a creative, strategic, or operational capacity, it's important we never lose sight of this. Mm-hmm. Which I think is, that's pretty much a good way to describe how we need to be interacting with artists across the board, right?
Yeah.
So I called this conversation, using our words, a conversation about being an artist in live music with Piri. If anybody knows the reference that using our words came from, then you get a free can of our sponsor's beer, Signature Brew. And I think, especially as this is like our first one, it was important for me, if we were going to have a conversation with an artist, it's someone who, we have connection with as a work in progress, someone who I've worked with before, someone who, I've been lucky enough to see more of your journey, and so I'm kind of a bit better equipped to explore those different things that I've maybe seen you do, and be able to approach that conversation kind of with slightly better informed than what's necessarily put out on marketing and the internet and things like that, right? Because we all try to make it look nice. That's the goal. It has to, when something goes wrong on stage, there's so many things that we've been talking about today where it's like we're putting a lot of effort into making sure that if it does go wrong, nobody can notice. Nobody knows. And that's the same with you when you're performing, right? It's playing it off is a big part of making sure that performance amazing. So I met you when you had just got signed.
Yep, just about started, and it all came out of nowhere, honestly.
Yeah.
I was just saying, it's really interesting how little I knew when I started, not only about music and the music industry, but about live music. And I didn't know what a musical director was or what any of the tech was or anything. So I feel like I've had a really good learning experience over the past 5 years it's been now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I guess it's, especially roles like music direction and playback. Session musicians I feel like is more visible because you'll have more friends. Even just when you start getting into music, you'll have someone who, they play drums for insert artist name here, and everybody goes, oh, that's really cool. Because that's especially when you're starting out, all of a sudden someone kind of has a bit of success. But when it comes to music direction, you don't even realize not only that it's a role, but that you'd ever need it.
Yeah, it's
because
super important.
Yeah.
I think me as an artist and Tommy, who I was in a band with, who produced a lot of the music, we were quite control freak artists, I would say, as well. And we like to do a lot of it ourselves too. But I think just having the input from someone else early on, and just getting to know what's possible with a live show, and the fact that you can really look at it as an expression of your world, and think about what you can actually put in it. It's not just getting up and playing songs. It's a lot more than that. It's a big experience.
I think when you get it right, it's more than that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people maybe are misled in thinking that all they need to do is put on a gig, which is people on stage playing music.
Yeah.
Where actually when you come at it from the artist perspective, there's a vision, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you start, is what's your vision? What's your world? And it's great that you're immediately kind of conscious of that world building is a big part of how you sell the brand, right? And there's no reason why the way that you approach your TikToks and your social media, and that's ultimately how you present yourself to a lot of fans, and making sure that then translates into every other fucking output.
Yeah, and it's important to think about that, and it's something that I feel like not everyone does kind of realize at the start, and I didn't realize at the start, which is why it's good to work with the right people who will challenge you and say what do you actually want to say with this show? What do you actually want to do here?
What you want to say is such a good way to describe it, because I certainly think as a music director in the past myself, I've definitely missed the mark on that. On more than one occasion of saying to an artist but what's your narrative?
Yeah.
And now it's something we say a lot. Now we've done a lot more, and we've seen shows like yours where you're much more, one of the things, I guess that's one of the reasons to get you on talking about it as an artist, is your shows have always had more theatrics, more choreo, and more styling than pretty much every one of the artists that we work with, right?
Thank you.
I learned it all from Piri. It's all down to Piri. But and it's one of the things that has been magic on some of the shows that I've worked with long time ago, like Pet Shop Boys, for example. That was a big part of their show, and I remember that being very engaging, and for a long period of time they'd bring fans in all the time, and I was like, they're meeting a young artist who's immediately just like on Beachin', one of your songs in your show, it was immediately just like Beach Balls.
Beach Balls.
And that was but for real, this is from like the fucking first time we sat down, it was just like, we're doing Beach Balls on Beachin'. Beach Balls. That's what we're going to do.
Why not? It's so easy. Inflatables are the best, everyone. Inflatables are it. Because they pack down super nice.
Yeah.
You don't, they don't weigh a lot. You can carry them around. And then it doesn't matter if you lose the beach balls at the end of the show. You do not need to retrieve them.
Yeah.
I feel like it's nice for the fans to get the beach ball as well.
Come up and sign my beach ball.
Yeah, they do. It's nice. Like, if you can ever think of any song that relates to anything inflatable, go for it. That's my vibe.
But the thing is, you can do that type of theatrics, and this is one of the things that I found really interesting and quite inspiring about it. Is like, okay, so we can take that piece of theatrics and we can do that in a 100-cap venue.
Yeah.
We could do that in Brixton Academy.
Yeah.
With different scales of
giant
said
beach ball.
Giant beach ball. You know what I'm talking about? Giant fucking beach balls. And that's going to translate to all of your fans as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, anybody who's paid to turn up, they're going to be like, oh yes, the fucking beach balls, except now it's Brixton Academy, so massive beach balls or tiny beach balls or whatever. And I think it's sometimes missed that thought process of being like, what can I do?
Yeah, things like that are overlooked. Like, it brings you into a show so much as someone in the audience when suddenly there's like something going on, and it really connects everyone in the room together, I feel like, which is important as a live show, is like having a unified crowd who kind of feels like, I don't know, like they're an entity together enjoying the show, and like things like the beach ball or like any other like interactive moment in the show really helps to like bring the crowd together, and it makes, I don't know, it just makes it so much more of a vibe between artist and crowd as well.
I mean, look, it's fucking sick, and I think it's the harder part to approach live shows, because it's turning it into the show as opposed to being a gig. It's having that performance element. We kind of all, I think, quite arrogantly think that we're very well versed in it, and often miss the mark in that, it's okay to dress up kind of weird if that gives the show the right vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, for real.
And being involved in all that choreography, because I remember one of your shows, like, you really, when you had the choreographer in and we were prepping for something, and I think Tommy came on to do a particular song, and it was like, no, we need to drill the choreography with you too, Tommy, because like when we dance together.
Yep.
Because then the dance has much more purpose, and all those movements have been created to fit the narrative of the song, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't just have one, I don't know, because I think for that particular show, so the whole show was me and two dancers was the main show. And then we would have Tommy come on for, I think, 3 songs as a guitarist to do like a solo and just like his parts. And I think he sung a bit as well, probably.
Probably, yeah.
But then it's like, we can't have 2 dancers and me doing this routine and then just have like guitarist off to the side, not involved. It's like, not even like dance moves or choreo, it's like just the movement. Like, if we're all going left on the stage, just walk with us. Yeah. It just will look like a whole thing and like looks planned and looks good. I feel like people overestimate what choreo is. Like, choreo can just be like, now we're going to go to the front left, and now we're going to walk back, and now we're going to go over here. Yeah. And I think just little bits of like movement like that, not necessarily dancing, but movement, like adds a lot to a show as well.
But I think, people get scared when you go, oh, we need to think about choreo. I mean, especially if I say it in the room, people are like, what the fuck do you mean choreo? Yeah. Like, I'm talking to like,
I can't
DJ
break dance.
Like, exactly. They're like, what, you're going to make me do fucking dance moves? They're like, no, mate, you just need to move in a more interesting way.
Yes.
Like,
give us something.
Something to make it exciting and make sure that everybody knows that you're all doing this together. And I guess sometimes in shows that can translate to an audience being able to do that with you. Yeah. Which, that's fucking hard to get it right. Yeah. But also, I suppose artists are better equipped than they ever have been to translate a certain dance move for a song to an audience. You could just come up with that, like, if you get it onto your socials and it connects, you're like, come dance with me, guys.
Yeah, and even I've just had like little dance moves I've done in my show where the audience have just seen me do it a few times. They just start doing it with me, and it's like so good, such a vibe. Yeah.
So when you're thinking about like a process for this, because we've talked about process on pretty much every one of these podcasts, and also in the playback workshop that we did earlier, and I think processes are important to vocalize properly, because it can seem like this strange alien concept, and maybe that's why people get bogged down in finding the creative part of creating like concepts for shows and stuff can start to feel a bit wishy-washy, when actually like it's really important to have a process and figure out a way to catalyze your ideas into something that then becomes something coherent you can present to human beings, and hopefully your fans like it, and want to pay a bit more on the ticket price to come to it. But like approaching a process, kind of where are you starting with that? Is it like a pure like just, you know, vomit stuff into TikTok and see what works, or is it like a conscious effort of like, well, I know that this is, because I suppose the beaching thing is you've got like a nice obvious part of that of being like,
I think
beach balls.
For me it's like in terms of like when I'm approaching a new live show and I'm building a show, it's like, so I'll have, usually there's like a project going on, like an EP or mixtape or something, so visually it's like what's the world from that project and how can I bring that into the show. So that's the recent tour I just did was an EP called Magic, so we had like cards everywhere, red, black, white, you know, color scheme, and that was kind of like the visual world sorted. But then in terms of the show, it's like start with set list, start with like what's the first song. That's always the most important thing and one of the hardest things to decide actually. Is
the first and the last song are the hardest part of your show.
Yeah, literally. And then try and make a flow from that. It's like, so we're doing like, do you want to like group similar songs together or do you want to keep it really varied? So it's like, usually I work out the whole set list. I think it's really helpful as well to write songs on little slips of paper and then you can like slide them around in real life. Like that's my favorite way to do a set list, or like an album track listing, physical tactile movement. But then once I've got the set list, then it's like, I'm looking through, I'm like, where do I want to put a gap? What do I want to do in the gap? And what can I add to each song to make it a bit more interesting? Like, I'm usually trying to go through it and think like, what can I do in this song? What can I do in this song? And like for example, there's a song called Yo-Yo that I have where I make everyone do like a Y-O, little Chapel Roan moment. Yeah. And it's just like, the more songs of the set list that I can do a little dash or a bracket, and like, then I'm going to do a dance here, or then I'm going to do a beach ball. Like, the more of the little extra things I see, the better I think it's going.
It's really important stuff, isn't it? Because as much as music is incredibly important and informs these decisions and will inform the kind of world that you're going to build around a project with like an EP and stuff like that, you know, ultimately you're entertaining.
Yeah.
It's still an entertainment industry. And yes, music is fucking important. It's so fucking important. But the thing that's always going to elevate a fan experience is, did you manage to take that music and entertain them with it? And there's definitely certain types of show where I'm going to watch someone fucking shred and be really good at their instrument. And there's other types of show where I'm going thinking, well, you know, I'm not necessarily going and being I'm probably being more judgy because I'm fucking industry, aren't I? I'm the worst person to have at your gig at the back.
Writing notes.
How did you really tell the narrative of that song?
I'm looking at the rig.
But yeah, not to lose track of that. It's finding that way to, you know, bring more and emote more from that music. And it may not necessarily be finding the best chord. It may be that, you know, that fan has a physical interaction with you by dancing that dance with you.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think the music sets the tone for it all. Like, so for example, with Piri and Tommy, our music is like, our main aim is to be fun and just like a bit wacky and just kind of like, I don't know, fun is the main word really, and like joke around a bit and not take ourselves too seriously. So I think that is what informs our live show. We want it to be very fun, so that's why we add all the things we do. But then, for example, if I was like an artist who like had really sad emotional songs, it's like, how do I then add that extra emotion into my show? Or again, if it's someone who's a shredder and it's like jazz focused, it's like, how do I make that stand out the best it can? So it's like the music informs what you add to the performance. But yeah, lucky for us, we're just so unserious, so we can do whatever we want.
Whatever, try that, see what
Literally.
happens. So obviously you've got that vision, and then you've got quite a clear vision, which is one of the things that artists misunderstand, that having a clear vision is, that's your whole success is based on that. And everyone around you who's working with you, if they're failing, unfortunately it's very likely it's because you don't have a clear vision or you haven't communicated it correctly if you do. And you know, this is what I'm saying with like a lot of the theatrics and choreo and stuff with your shows. It's like there's always like a clear, like, this is a laugh. We're having a laugh, guys. This should be fun. How do we make this more fun? And I think it kind of takes me on to talking about how your team enables that vision, because it's all well and good. Like, obviously we need to have the creative aspect, but then there's also, you know, I said it in the last podcast, it also starts to become this kind of leadership aspect of it, where like choosing the right people and making sure they have what they need. And as much as I think there's a narrative with artists where people tell you it's not your job to think about that, but actually everybody wants to talk to the artist. It's your face, it's your show. We're working towards making your show is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of the things that I think that you've done quite well across a lot of tours, and there's things that we've always like worked through and improved on, but I think it's like getting your actual take, because I think also it's a conversation we don't have with people like you that's in a more sensitive way of like, hey, like I know this is a fucking massive mountain that we need to climb together. Do you know what I mean? Like,
real.
What do you need? Who do you need? How do we find those people and how do we make sure they get right? Because we've also just been talking in all of the other fucking podcasts about how often we get it wrong and we're offloading that responsibility onto someone else. So it's a tricky question, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say like I'm a big advocate for artists who take control and who realize that they are like not the boss, but the boss, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a lot of artists can kind of like be tempted to let their managers sort everything because like, you know, you hear manager and you think like, well, they're in charge, but it's like, no, like you can be responsible and you can advocate for people on your team as well, which I always like really try to do. I think it's important. And then I don't know, I just like whenever we get someone on board, I like to meet them on a Zoom call or in person first and just like see what's her vibe, like are we gonna get on, like do we have a shared vision for this? And yeah, I think trying to like prepare people as much as possible and just like give them as much of your information as you can as well, and like I don't know, making sure people feel like they can ask you questions as well, I think is really important. Like
I think that's on both sides. I remember when I was working with an artist who at the time was, you know, 19-year-old pop star.
Yeah.
And she wanted me to not like launch the tracks on the show. I was doing playback at the time quite as quickly as I was, because I was used to shows where we just needed to get through it.
Right.
And she like got the tour manager to kind of half ask me, and I was just like, she's the boss. It's cool. Like, if that's what she needs to come and say it. And like, I think that's not the first time that story's been told, right? Like, trying to figure out ways where we can break down those walls and everybody have a conversation, because ultimately, you know, I want to make an incredible show, you want to have an incredible show, like we should have a conversation about having fucking sick shows. For
and
real. It feels obvious, but actually it doesn't happen a lot of the time.
No, especially with like younger artists. Like I know I think I was like 21 and pretty clueless, but luckily just like quite control freak, so I was just getting involved by nature. But a lot of like, especially younger artists just don't know the power that they have, I think, and don't know that they can just like go and say, actually, I want it like this, because you're so used to like at that point you've been in like uni, like that's the latest thing you've done, and it's like you're not an authoritative figure at uni. You're always looking to people, and you're now in this world with like people who are like usually just a lot like older than you as well, and like your just instinct is to look to them to tell you what to do. And for them to be authoritative. And it's kind of like, it takes, I guess, like a good team, a good environment, good managers, just good friends for the artists as well, support groups, just people to encourage you and say like, no, you have control, and you can like ask people to do things how you like them, like obviously within reason, but just like set the tone for the team and like, you know, let people know how you want it to be, kind of thing.
I think sometimes maybe people don't come across as approachable enough to do that. I know that there's, in every role, like, I think there's maybe a few projects that people will work on where they're coached into that mentality of like, oh no, but the artist doesn't know what they want.
Right.
And so that you can create these situations then where people do maybe start to overstep a little bit, where actually the answer that we need is from people like you. The answer, if we need to know like how something needs to be, it's like you probably have that answer, and you know, enabling that voice is certainly more important, I think, than kind of squash it, basically. Because you know, when we're music directing, I can't fucking make the show until you've made the album and told me what the album means. Like, there's no way I can't fucking tell you what it's going to be, and I guess it's a problem that we have with lots of young people in the industry in general. I think maybe rather than getting too granular with specifically what you want from different roles, because sometimes that can maybe become a little bit fighty. I put like specific roles in here, and I guess there's more of like an overarching thing of I don't know. A lot of people in our side of this kind of conversation, I guess, are always striving for this like immaculate competence, and I guess, is this something that maybe you're even concerned of when you're doing that Zoom call and you're trying to catch someone's vibe, right?
Yeah.
I fucking said vibe again. And
You've got a vibe.
but, you know, are you actually going to be looking at, you know, I can do X, Y, and Z? Or is it more of like well, you've worked with artists that I kind of like or kind of get on with, or friends that I like? I guess it's when you're finding those people, like specifically what are those things apart from vibes that you're actually looking at?
Yeah, I think having like a bit of experience doing something semi-similar is always good. Like it's usually more so like by checking Instagram though, rather than asking in that Zoom call. It's more like if it's a musician, it's like, do I see you're playing and think like, yeah, you're going to be able to smash what I do? Which is why, like you were saying, it's good to have a variety of stuff on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Even if like you specifically do stick to one genre, just like chuck some random stuff out, you know. And then enthusiasm as well. Just like someone who is like, I like this music. You would be surprised. People just don't say that they like the music and are excited to work on it. I think that goes such a long way. Just like if you're speaking to an artist, just say like, sick music, like gas to work on this, let's go. That says a lot. It's like, yeah, you like my music, like you're gonna want to do the best you can for this. I think people forget to kind of like say that and like hype each other up enough, or just like, yeah, just compliment each other in general. I feel like that's a good thing. And just like enthusiasm to want to work as a team and want to like make the best show you can. And just like, I really appreciate people who are open-minded to like my crazy ideas.
Yeah.
And aren't afraid of like, we're going to have loads of props, loads of decorations. It's going to be a clusterfuck, but like, are you down to ride with that? And we might forget something at the venue and it's going to be a nightmare, but are you riding?
Yeah. We'll like figure it out together.
Yeah, exactly. Like problem solvers and just people who are going to just seem like they're up for anything. I think that's a good vibe for me. But again, it's like different for each artist. Like some people might like a much more structured vibe rather than like a loose flowing one. So I think, it's just about vibe.
Fucking vibes.
Always comes back.
Always comes back to vibes. So you locked in your team and stuff, and then there's like financing the tour is like something that always comes back to, because like money's a thing, right? Everybody wants to get paid. Everybody always wants to fucking get paid more.
Yeah.
And you know, as does the fucking artist too. Jesus Christ, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess it's something that's worth having a conversation with who's on the very pointy end of that stick, because I don't think we really do. I think like people will come up with their own idea in their head because nobody really wants to talk about that part of it, because it's not the nice thing to talk about.
No, it's
but there's
rough,
a lot of decisions and realities are driven by that budget, right? And I think we all need to be understanding. I mean, certainly as music directors, I think we have a responsibility in terms of what we suggest and how much we can probably sense, you know, an artist can actually spend or not spend.
Yeah.
Because everybody asks for the world, right? Like we all want to achieve the most incredible bells and whistles show, but like sometimes that's not quite the reality.
Yeah.
So I guess talking to you first about like where the money actually comes from, because, you know, people will go, it's one rate for the label, one rate for the artist, and normally the rate for the label is double that.
Yeah.
And the reality is that's actually your fucking loan from the label, right?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, the label don't often help with touring anyway. It's like
not anymore,
pretty separate vibe. So it's like, I've had a lot of like friends out of music who have this big misconception that labels pay for touring, and it's like, no, man, I wish.
It's not the case anymore.
No, and it's just a given. You are going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose a lot of money touring, basically, on a tour.
It's such a shame, because that's what every artist says, is like, I'm going into this just going, I'm just going to lose money. But then I think what happens is a lot of us around it decide to normalize that as like they're losing money anyway, right? So we might as well just fucking
lose more.
And as someone who then has to run a business, it's like fucking obscene that like we all just decide that's how we're going to approach it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, you lose money on the tour, but then the goal is to make it back with festivals. That's kind of how it's been like with sold to artists with hype. But then I'm finding it like right now, I had a pretty big moment in 2022. I had like 2 TikTok songs that did pretty well in a row, which is cool.
Yeah.
But then it's like, then you get like a couple of really good festival seasons. And then once you don't have like all of that hype, like I've still got a fan base, a community, people who listen and check for releases. But once you don't have like the hype online, the festivals don't really want you either. So then it's like, I'm just touring to tour because I've still got these people who want to see my show. But I pretty much know that I'm not going to get it back.
Because a loyalty to your fans is important, because those people, they help you get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
But then also, there's you can't charge them 150 quid a ticket.
No, I've always tried to keep tickets really low as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard economy for everyone. Like, people people can't afford all that going out.
It's a tricky reality of live music that we're facing with, like, cost of living hits. Kind of luxury products first, right? And going out, unfortunately, normally comes under luxury.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Piri, that's very much like all my notes.
Yeah, I have more to say. I have more to say on that. It's a bit of a seesaw in terms of like how much energy you want to put into the show, how good you want it to be, and how much money you want to lose, basically.
Yeah.
Because from my point of view, me and Tommy, we make electronic music, or we definitely started out that way. We could have done Tommy behind a DJ deck and me singing, and that's it, and we wouldn't have lost much money, because DJs have it the best, guys.
Yeah.
I wish I was a DJ. Imagine just turning up with a USB stick, no Pelly cases or nothing. Goddamn. I know you can do more. You can do more, obviously, but that's like the dream.
Yeah.
But we could have done that, but we were like, no, we're going to have a drummer. We're going to have... Tommy wants 2 guitars, 2 pedal boards, 2 amps. Why not? Go crazy.
Yeah.
Decorations, choreo, props, all of this. It's like, how much do you want to give and how much do you want to lose? It's like kind of the same scale, I guess. And it's up to the artist and then the managers, but I think it does come down to the artist to like, how much do you want to cheap out or how much do you want to just go for it? And obviously everyone's situation is different with money, how much is coming in, how much you've got to spend on that kind of thing. Anyway, so I tend to be on the side of just like go for it and hope for the best. And I think that is kind of why we did have a good couple of festival seasons, because people who saw our show could see like we are going the extra mile and really trying here to deliver like a good high value show and not just like doing the bare minimum kind of thing. So it does like, it is, you know, it's all like you get karma back for like putting effort in, I think. But yeah, you just kind of got to go for it sometimes.
I think one of the interesting things, because I was looking at a few different interviews that you've done and stuff to figure out like how we talk about this on this podcast. And something that I thought was really interesting is when you talked to Bimini about how this last tour that you did, you tour managed it yourself.
Yeah.
Which...
What, the Europe one?
I can't remember exactly which tour it was that you were talking about on it.
Was it a bad tour? Did I say it was bad? It's probably the bad tour.
Well, I think what was interesting about that coming up and you being honest about that is that you owned that situation and you went and got your fucking hands dirty to get the job done.
Yeah.
And it can be very easy to fall into a trap of people around you telling you, oh, well, you need to have this person and this person, this person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's never going to fucking work.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's probably quite hard as an artist to realize that if you have a skill, like, for example, you know, being able to book a flight and tell people to get on it.
Pretty organized.
Yeah.
Person.
And, you know, being able to be like, well, okay, well, maybe we can just get away with not paying for that to like make this work and make sure we can actually go and do the gig. Because, you know, that's another tricky thing I think that a lot of artists have is they kind of pave themselves into a bit of a corner. They get themselves stuck in like, oh, well, if I don't have IEMs and I don't have a tour manager, I don't have a front of house engineer, I don't have a monitor engineer, I can't do the gig. And like the majority of their gigs are 250 cap shows. And you're like, man, like, what happened here? Like, it's okay. Maybe you could learn a little bit of something.
Yeah, you can do
like...
anything. Yeah, like I could tech a show myself at this point. Like we did a Europe tour and it was me, Tommy, bandmate, drummer. My dad was the driver.
Sick.
Like, let's go. I paid him still, but not as much as I would have a normal driver. But that was a vibe, you know. But yeah, we had a tour manager had advanced it because I just didn't want to. It was a lot of cities. It was a lot of travel. I didn't want to do that. But functionally on the road, I was the tech and the tour manager, essentially.
That's amazing.
We were setting up our playback rig, our laptop every day, our IEMs. We didn't really have any technical issues, to be fair, which is pretty mental.
Fucking right.
Considering, let's go. But yeah, it was really hard. It was the hardest. It was a really, really, really like honestly pretty bad experience. Everything was bad except for the shows. The shows were good. The shows were the only good part.
Yeah.
Basically. But that's what we were there to do. That was the job. Like, we're not on holiday. Like, we are working.
Yeah.
And even if I am getting really stressed and angry at everyone and being a bad vibe and crying in the front seat of the van, it's okay because we're getting the job done.
You're doing it together.
And we got the job done and we did.
You're there for your fucking fans and giving them that opportunity to sing that song with you and
for
have
real.
a wonderful time.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. And I guess... it wasn't that bad, really. Like, I'm going back and forth on it here. No, you just got to do it, like, relatively speaking. Like, there could have been a much worse situation to be in, to be honest, than being on a European tour and managing it myself. Like, yeah.
Look, touring's hard anyway, and I think any however comfortable you try to make it, there's going to be bits that are shit.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the realities of going out and putting a show on all over the world. There's all these things you absolutely cannot control that 100% will happen.
Yeah.
And you've got to roll with those punches, right? And like just make the best that you can make of it. I think that's why I thought it was really cool that you had to do that on your own and you did it.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, it's good for artists to learn as many skills as you can. Like, if you can know about the tech, like, even, like, maybe not necessarily to the extent where you're plugging it in every time, but, like, just to understand at least, like, what is the playback rig, like, where's the cables going, kind of thing, like, why is this plug into that? I think it's good to just, like, have that knowledge.
Why is it even there? So you can be more involved in that process of, I kind of want to do this in this bit. Like, what things do we need around us to make sure that I can do the thing I'm trying to do?
Yeah, and it makes you better at communication. It makes you better at planning as well. Like, I can now think of a show and how to plan a show in terms of, like, how is it going to run? Like, how is this feasibly going to happen? And I think it feeds into other aspects of being an artist as well. Like, the more you do music videos, for example, the more you can come up with a music video concept and think about how we're actually going to shoot that. How's it possible? So I think learning, you have to learn. Yeah, there's so many skills go into being an artist, but like the more you can learn and the more you can be able to communicate with your team, the better, I think.
I think that's a really good place for us to end that on.
Yeah.
That's fucking empower yourself and learn things as an artist.
Go for it, Piri. Let's go.
Thank you, Piri, so much for coming and talking to us. I really, really appreciate it. That's last show for our podcast of the evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for being part of it. This is the first Factory Reset. Hopefully, we'll do some more. And
big up Tom Kane, everyone. Big up Tom Kane. Let's go. My guy. This guy. Thank you.
See you all next year.